Hello, class. Welcome to class today. Guess what you're going to learn today? Proficiency Target A. List the major chemical elements in cells. So, let me get my book. Make sure I can help you follow along for your lesson today. We are going to start. We got vocab. So, let's do that. That's 33. Your vocab's on page 33. And then we'll start on page 34. So first we got a list of major chemical elements in cells. So that's our first learning target. Let's move on to the next page. The 6 main elements in cells are carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. So I remember that by just saying CHNOPS. CHNOPS, and then I just remember carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. So remember last time we talked about how organic things contain the element carbon. So we got to talk a little bit about why this is important. So carbon, as you can see, actually can form 4 bonds. Right? So in my notes I'm going to write on 34 underneath that LT1 PTA, I'm going to write carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur are the 6 main elements. And then I'm going to write carbon can bond 4 times. Then I'm going to write hydrogen can bond 1 time. As you can see, it has 1 valence electron. It wants 2, so it can bond once. Whereas carbon has 4 valence electrons, and it wants to have 8, so it's going to make 4 bonds. Nitrogen wants 3 because it has 5 valence electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it can make 3 bonds, and oxygen can make 2 because it has 6. So you need to know those things because it's helpful as we go through how the different macromolecules, macro meaning big, molecule meaning molecule. So the big molecules are actually formed together. So let's look at our next learning target. We need to identify the structures and functions of the 4 major macromolecules that make up cells. So let's start by looking at the structure of most of them. As you can see, I'll get the pen. All right, we'll do, sure. As you can see, you got carbon at the base of most of these. This is a glucose, what it's going to kind of look like. You also have that carbon here. That's kind of going to be the base of all of the different macromolecules. So right here, you're going to actually have a carbon too. This is an amino acid. So you're going to have carbon at the base of most of the different macromolecules that we have. So that's pretty important. All right, now our next thing we've got to talk about are carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates make up most of the food we eat usually. So you got carbs in beans, fruit, whole wheat bread, normal bread that just has white flour in it, bananas, just anything, rice. So let's talk about the different carbohydrates that we have. Now, things you'll need to know. So we're going still on page 34, just down to the bottom. You can see these pictures. Now, if you're looking here, at each one of these corners is a carbon. Not that one, that's oxygen. You have a carbon at each one of those corners because it can make 4 bonds. Now, this is a monosaccharide. You need to know that. Monosaccharide, mono meaning 1, and saccharide meaning sugar. So saccharide means sugar. Now, your examples you have for that, soda is made out of high fructose corn syrup, so it's going to be a monosaccharide. My favorite one is honey because honey is just bee barf. What honeys actually do is they take the nectar, which nectar in plants and flowers is going to be a disaccharide like this one right here. Notice you have 2 sugars, so 2 sugars. That's what I'd write here, 2 sugars, so you know, disaccharide. And then, it's going to break it down. It's going to digest it and barf it out as honey. into the combs. So that's kind of fun. Hopefully honey's ruined for you, but it still tastes good. Yeah. Now, a good example for a disaccharide that you would know normally, besides nectar, okay, because nectar is kind of, I mean, you can say that, is actually called sucrose, and sucrose is actually table sugar. So we'll put that. Table sugar is sucrose. This is actually sucrose right here, I think. Oh, and I'm spelling sugar wrong. There we go, sugar, table sugar. Now, polysaccharide is many sugars. Notice the chain you have here. Now, I want you to notice that at each one of these things, you have an oxygen connecting them together. What actually happened was, if you notice, you have an OH here and an HO here. You're going to get rid of that H and this OH. That means H2O is coming out between them, and it's going to form a bond right there, right? You're getting rid of a water. That's called dehydration synthesis. That is in your vocab. So dehydration synthesis is when you bond two different molecules together by taking out a water, right? If you think of dehydration, it's when you're lacking water, or like dehydrating fruit, you're taking the water away. So if you just want to think of it like that, you're taking the water away and combining two molecules together. That's dehydration synthesis. So polysaccharides are just a bunch of monosaccharides connected together through dehydration synthesis. Now, if you want to cut them apart, all you would have to do is the opposite. You just take a water molecule, add it back in here, and it'll separate them, and it'll look more like monosaccharides again. That's called hydrolysis. That's also in your book. Hydro meaning water, lysis meaning to cut. So you're cutting with water, so you're breaking those bonds apart. Now, a good example for polysaccharides would be something like oatmeal or wheat, those types of things. All right, cool. Now, main function. You got to know the functions, right? Because that's one of the parts of your proficiency target. So main function, it's your main energy source. That is what the main function of carbohydrates are. So it's your main energy source. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Proteins. Now you can get proteins from a lot of different foods. Okay, one thing you might not know is peas. The vegetable peas have a lot of protein in them. I eat a lot of eggs and chicken and things like that to get my protein. Now, the functions of protein, they're going to be structural, so they actually give your cells structure. Proteins give your cells structure. Also, they're there to help with the chemical reactions in your body, so they're part of your metabolism. They're actually enzymes that help break down your food or do little chemical processes in your body. So for that function, I just say they perform chemical reactions in your body. Also, they're going to help build muscle, those types of things. Okay, so those are the functions. Make sure you do that. Okay, now proteins are made up of amino acids. So in your vocab, I would write amino acids are the building blocks of protein. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. That's just what I'd write. Okay, you should have pretty much all of your vocab done. So, amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So, let's look at them. Now, you use actually all these amino acids in your body. Now, you have to actually ingest 9 of them. Those are the essential amino acids that you need to eat. The other 11 you actually make. So, that's pretty cool. Now, I want you to notice, let me get the pen open. I want you to notice there's an OH there and an H there. So if I wanted H2 there, so if I wanted to, I could connect phenylalanine and tyrosine together and take out a water. What's that called? Yep, that's right. Dehydration synthesis. We're getting rid of the water and we're going to connect them together. Now, when we connect them together, we actually call that a primary structure protein. Right here. This is a primary structure protein. It is a chain of amino acids. So, primary structure. We actually call a chain of amino acids a polypeptide. That's in your vocab. If you're wondering what the vocab word is, what it is, poly meaning many, peptide meaning amino acid. So polypeptide is a chain of amino acids. Polypeptide. So that's a primary structure. Now, as those primary structure amino acids, they have little hydrogens on them, and they're going to form little hydrogen bonds, and so they're actually going to start, let's say here's your polypeptide, they're going to start folding and folding. So it forms things like these pleated sheets or alpha helix. So that's your secondary structure is here. Secondary structure. Now, those pleated sheets and alpha helixes are going to come together and form a tertiary structure. So, tertiary structure is combining some of those, and then that's just going to continue to fold in on itself and become quaternary structure. Now, quaternary structure is the actual protein. Spelling it wrong. Quaternary. There we go. I don't want to spend the time to erase it. There we go. Quaternary structure. So it's the actual proteins. That's what I'd write here. Protein. Okay. It's the actual protein as it's all combined together. So you got primary structure, which is a polypeptide, which is a chain of amino acids. Okay, now they're going to come to form together. When those form, you have an enzyme that actually puts them together through dehydration synthesis, and that's called a peptide bond when two amino acids are put together. A peptide bond is when two amino acids are put together. Awesome. Let's see, I got any other vocab words I got to cover in here? Right, if we just want to break them apart, hydrolysis breaks them apart. All right. That's all I'm going to cover today. All right, you guys have a great day. I miss you. I wish I was in there talking to you, but I'm on a field study, so that's fun too. So I'm walking through the river right now. All right. See you later. Oh, never mind. Hold on. Here's what you need to do next. You can answer in your concept review. This is what your assignment is. You can answer questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can answer all those questions in your concept review, so get those done in all the extra time you're going to have today, because I don't want to get way ahead of everybody else. So this is the exact lecture I gave to my 8A, today, since, I'm recording it after school. So get that done, and then you don't have homework. So there you go. Get it done. And if you say, I'm going to do this at home, I'm going to go, why? Get it done now, so you're not just sitting around doing nothing on your phone. Okay. I'm just trying to help you guys. Okay. I told you I'd be an honest critic, so there you go. All right. I'm done. Now you know what you need to do. That's your assignment for the day.